So, Namaskar and good evening to everybody and the distinguished guests on the dais and all the people who have come here to for gracing this occasion. Sir, first of all, please accept my congratulations from all our side. It's not easy because Uttar Pradesh, as you said, is one country, and within that country, we used to talk about IPv4 addresses. Will it be enough? IPv6 address will we can cover the planet and all this. But I am very happy because I'm seeing something happening, and really I congratulate you and your team for this fantastic step forward. I think whatever you said, updation, all these things has to happen, but there should be a good start. I think you're on the right platform to start. So that gives me a good background for my presentation. Probably I'll take another 15, 20, maximum 20 minutes to move on with this. So what we are trying to see is there are a lot of technologies available today. And like what are global technologies? What is the relevance for India? Like, because I've been in this field for the last 30 years, I've seen India growing from, I used to, when we, all of us, some of you can relate because a lot of young faces I see. When you apply for a telephone connection, I'm talking about Aam Aadmi, sir, not like bureaucrats like you. Yeah, so we are all OIT general, and normally we get an answer TNFA, technically not feasible area. Right from there, and now we have everybody, even each and everybody has got more than one hand phone. So that is the way in which communication has taken, and technology has become pervasive, and it started impacting all our lives, whether you're in business, whether you're in profession, whether you're in personal life, or now in government to a citizen, and all these phases, which is really heartening to see that and very gratifying as a technology person. So with that background, I'm just going to talk about a few things. Of course, we can take some cues from here, and I'll be happy to share my experience and what we have to make this happen for you. So I'm sorry, sir, maybe if you want, you can slightly, because I'm sorry for that. So I think all of us know IoT or the Internet of Things is something what happening all over the world, and it's bringing a lot of potential in terms of the economic impact it is going to create globally as well as in India. So we are good thing is we are not second to anybody because a lot of technology is already in India today. We don't need to wait for 10 years or 15 years to get the technologies. Most of them are here, and I think this is where in different fronts, whether it is vehicles or whether it is in cities, smart cities, work sites, navigation, logistics, wherever you see there seems to be a big impact of technology. And each and every device which can have an IP address can be one of the intelligent sensors or whatever it is. So that is where the pervasiveness is coming up. So if we take that, there is a lot of potential, but can we realize this potential? Like probably this project would have taken you years of planning and hard work and efforts and things going in so that you see the fruits of that and this thing. And India is a market where we hit the scale in no time because we plan for toll gates. By the time the toll gate is finished, the traffic grows 5x times. Right. Similarly, in your case also, RAN records, if it keeps happening, everybody starts 5 crore hits is simply amazing. 50 million hits is no joke. And you need to be really having something solid behind to make this run every time. And it's 24/7. Anybody wants to do anything, it's no more you have to take half a day leave or permission from your office, go to the stand there, wait in the queue, and all those things are gone nowadays, which is really happy to hear that. So basically what's happening underneath, because everybody, you are all users, but we are all the people who are working under the hood, make the machines running without any flawless, right? Basically three things I would like to highlight. One is connectivity. When I say connectivity is not just connecting the endpoints or something, it's more about how do you keep it reliable and sturdy. Right, so that is something which is what is very important, which is very, very basic. Whether it is highways, roads, somebody calls operators are plumbers, they just plumb pipes. We need to see what we want to push through the pipes. But that connectivity has become so much important because for each and everybody, it's becoming mission critical or life saving or whatever way. I think that is the sort of impact or the invasiveness technology has on all of us. So connectivity is one big issue. The other, the foundation. The other thing is the computing. Like for example, to do something like this, you need enormous horsepower behind the scene, right? And today, for example, and I'm very well, because I'm able to visualize what is going to happen in your case, because as you move towards blocks or tehsils or this thing, probably 10 years ago, the technology used to be scale up. That is, you build large and large data centers in one central location and see whether you can connect and all these things. Most of the time, the last mile connectivity, there is no power or something, you're not able to reach the place, so these services are not able to reach. But today, there is a technology called edge computing. You can push computing power to the edge, wherever you want, and manage it from a single point or a single NOC or a command and control center. It's true for anybody, whether it is for police, for any sort of citizen or public safety or security services. I think this is fantastic. So edge computing or the mobile edge computing, they keep MEC, you'll be hearing all these things. You can actually take the compute power. Today the form factor, the availability, the resiliency, all those things are available. So you can push it more and more towards the, for example, it's very simple. If I have to have a very good streaming experience on my, so what is Google and Hotstar and all these things, all of us are watching, right? Today also a lot of people are watching match. Unfortunately, we lost it, but it was a good match to watch. The thing is, the more you push the services towards the edge or towards the user, the latency is less, the experience goes up. So that is, so initially we used to use big data centers, build one and probably in Lucknow, maybe a disaster recovery somewhere else and things like that, and then connect all these things to the pipes, through pipes, which is today gone today. So we have something what we call the cloud model or whatever, like you will be hearing a lot of things. So today you can avail of those technologies because cloud means everything. What happens to security? I'm not talking about public cloud. Public cloud is something which is completely disrupted the way technology is being consumed. So edge computing is something which can take you towards the user wherever you want. You want to go to a TESIL, you want to go behind that, possible, right? The other important piece is security, because without this connection, you can have a connection, you can have the computing power, but you need to secure, because we are dealing with all mission critical or business sensitive applications or whatever sensitive data privacy, whichever way you call, whether it is crime records, land records, it's all, like you said, it should not be editable, it should be protected. So while good thing is, there's so much of thing happening from an IoT perspective or the number of billions of devices getting added, we will remember one thing, each and every device is a potential attack surface. Your attack surface also completely sort of increases. So we have to be very, very clear. Don't look at security after building it. Design security as an integrated part of your mission. Right? Tomorrow, normally what we do is we build the house, we interior decoration, all those things. Then we put the compound wall, then we put the lock, then we put the chain. But today it's not going to happen. It has to be, you have to design it day when you are actually doing your thing, because it is easy, because afterwards fixing lot many things is going to be very, very tough one thing. So these three things is what I am thinking should be your foundation tenets. And what is happening, like you said, I am just again, because you gave a fantastic example. So for example, today we are just connecting. He has started one step. UP has taken, they have taken from the revenue board first step. They are just connecting people, right? So it is more and more of volumes. So connect the unconnected, get things on the network, and then we see what will happen. So it's going to be some sort of a volume game. You take one application and scale it to the maximum possible, or try and coverage 100%. The next thing is, when you have this experience, you will start connecting. It can be some other department or some other. So the use cases, actually the variety starts coming in. So it can be revenue, it can be police, it can be education, it can be whatever. So a lot of communities will start using this sort of technology. So that's where the variety comes in. So what happens then is, you will need some sort of an intelligent platform in between to make it available and consumable for the different user groups. So that is where that sort of a cloud thing which is coming, it's like we can call it a platform. In case of IoT, it's an IoT platform. In case of anything, some other applications you can. So you will need something centrally to address all these things so that all of them talk to each other. Does it stop here? No. It actually, the velocity at which it grows. Velocity, when I mean here is, all of them would like to talk to everybody. Right? Like you said, you want to connect it to registry, you want to connect it to courts, you want to connect it to probably, I don't know, if you want to do a criminal verification or incumbency or what do you call, encumbrance. Yeah. So that's those sort of things, right? So it is becoming more and more autonomous. They are going to talk amongst themselves and take decisions, and the speed at which it is going to happen is going to be tremendous. So if you see, this is the way things are moving from a very much connected phase to an intelligent phase to an autonomous phase. Right, so where you want to draw the line, probably after some time, you will not be able to control what is happening on your platforms and systems, right? So it's going to be pretty much autonomous. Everybody is connected and everything is going to happen on its own. So if you want that, so I have just taken because there are a lot of use cases, I've just taken a smart city sort of a application where all these things fall in place. It's not enough if you just connect and secure, but you have to manage it. And probably analytics will be a big, big deal in terms of what exactly can you create some sort of analytics around it. And your platforms, whatever you go for, or technologies, whatever you go for, should be open enough. It should not be a sort of closed vendor. Okay, this vendor can talk only to him. He will give you the entire solution, because you don't know what will connect to whom and who will connect to which device and things like that. So keep your things open from that perspective. Some of the smart cities globally, what they do is they take a platform approach. Let's put the platform, start connecting the applications. But some of them take, okay, I want to have this application by this particular end of, or the G2C application or whatever it is. They go from an application driven. So it doesn't matter which way you start, but either way you do it, these sort of models, you should be having it in your thought process or when you're doing the design criteria. So basically, if you have to do smart cities, you need smart networks underlying it. So what is smart network? Basically, with the scale and with the complexity, don't look at automating it later. It is impossible. So automation should be day one. You should start your day one, whether it is, because you just can't do any more command line in, sort of going and configuring it. It is impossible. So the network should be pretty much self-configuring, pretty much automated from end-to-end perspective, and you just focus on what applications you want to start onto putting it. And always, whether irrespective of whichever department you are, you will need a single pane of glass to view it. So do I have a single view? Can I see what's happening as a dashboard? Today you have to log in into multiple devices or multiple terminals to understand what's going on. Done. So you can't just, because today security, the hackers are no more humans, right? Hackers are all bots. They're all robots. They're all being pushed, sitting in one place. They just push, attack. They will just throw the attack surface and they will see what all is vulnerable. Right, you just can't keep some 10 guys who are security experts and try to manage. Internet of Things, as I told you, billions of devices will get attacked at one stretch. So you also need to have, you cannot go to, if you're going to a cowboy fight, you need to have your pistols loaded. You cannot take your sword and say, I can go on, so you'll get shot down, right? So that is the way in which the attacks are also happening. So you also have to be very clear and very critical in terms of how I'm going to handle the security threats which are going to happen. One is isolation, because today isolation takes, or identification takes very long time, and a lot of people identify it, but how quickly you remediate it, right? So you need to have a single policy for security which can get implemented across your platforms, applications, everywhere. Of course, IoT enabled networks, I said. The other thing is robustness and scalability. Like I don't need so many land records or so many data in the system, in the platform. It has to be solid. So I will not even say it should be 5.9, it should be more than that. Right? So that is something, and it has to scale. Today, how can you scale? It's not that putting more and more of the same thing in a single place. As I told you, you can scale out, go push things more towards the edge, keep a lot of distributed way of looking at building those things. So these are things possible today in existing networks. So basically, it's not a marketing slide, because our vision from Juniper, we always look at networks getting more and more complex, and our only, if you see our tagline, it is engineering to drive simplicity. Right? So I just give you 10 seconds to go through it so that you can just, because this is what we do. We don't, while of course technology we do, but that technology should be deployable, it should be simple, and it should be useful for the groups which are looking at it. So I am sure a lot of people here and departments will be looking at where to invest, how to invest. So just keep these 4 questions, it can give you a good idea. Is, do you have to touch each and every network device to put your network? This is the first question. So this is like, when I talk about automation, this is what it means. Okay, you have to just go for automation day one. Whichever technology, whoever you talk to, whether it is vendor, integrator, doesn't matter. Just say, can I automate? What is the automation capabilities in your portfolio? Or do you give it to me day one? They will say, no sir, first we will implement this, we will do what do you call CLA configuration and also, then we will try and automate. Believe me, that time you will not be able to do it, because you will be in a hurry to push the project and meet the timelines by the time all these things. But if you do automation, like for example Google, how they are able to do it? They are having a global network and the entire IP MPLS network for Google. You know how many people are managing it? Any guess? Sorry? Less than 10. 24/7 across the globe. So they have started automation as a sort of, it's there everywhere, right? That is why if you do anything, they are able to quickly, and the analytics which they run behind each and everything is amazing. So all those things are not just possible today with manual workforce, or you just think you can't even scale. The human brain cannot scale beyond a certain thing based on our limitations. So just be careful. What we can do is the different ways of looking at it. The self-forming networks or the self-configuring networks, centralized management and control, I think we discussed about it. And automated onboarding. If somebody is having an application, okay, do you want to put something, like you said, you had a lot of buttons. So if each and every application has to get onboarded, it should be as a quick, sort of an automated way. You should not wait, each and everything should be a project. Once you have done that, the blueprint is done, start doing it from an automated mode, it should keep on. It will crash your timelines and anything, and it will immediately start giving you results. So there will be a lot of central location. I've just put it campus for the want of a different word. It can be regional, it can be district quarters, it can be state headquarters, it can be tehsil, it can be whatever. So you should be able to do it. You should not have multiple teams. So don't get me wrong. Here when I say, oh, if you have a large network, we can have a lot of teams and we can have a lot of employment. That's not the point. Point is that the same people can be used to deliver our applications rather than managing the network. Right, because you are dependent on somebody who will help you to build and manage the network so that you can focus on your this thing. But if he is also going to look at large teams, it's not going to help. So look at something which is a very, very simple sort of architecture which will help you, where you just have a blueprint architecture. Today all these things are possible because if you are rewinding 5 years or 10 years ago, you have to create one architecture for your central site, you have to create another architecture for your regional one, another for your remote one. So today everything is possible with the same. You can scale it the way you want. You can size it down, size it up. All these things are possible with network. So keep something like a common network architecture. And of course, you should have a uniform security policy. You cannot have, if it is holding in a village, this is going to be my security policy. If it is here, so just be very clear. One policy, if it is revenue, one policy. If it is policy, if it is one policy. If it is education, one policy. That's how we should push things towards all the places where you are having your things. The other thing I think, so for example, you have started and all these things, each project will take at least few months, if not years, to see the light of the day. What happens, you want to do some change in between. You want to do some mid-course correction. You want to do, so there will be a lot of technical debt you will be having with you because I have come a long way. I have invested so much time and effort and money in this. So what do you do? So when you go into a closed system wherein the vendor says, so I will give you everything, sir, everything is fine and it will work with all of us. So please ensure that whatever solution or whatever platform, whatever technology you go is open to accommodate more and more because you cannot control the applications and the way the things are going to happen around you. Right? So please have that in mind. It should not be closed and proprietary because then you are locked with one guy. You may not get the best of the breed solution available and it will not help you to take it out for the purpose which you are building it. Right? So again, command your destiny and choose open. That's what we prescribe. Common building blocks, and it can grow with your needs, not only in scale but also alteration, mid-course correction, all those things are possible. Last but not the least, you have to securely scale all your services. It's not just enough you just scale the services and you are having a lot of threats in your network and application area. Right? So your security also, because if I don't know if you are any this thing, there is something called perimeter security. All of us are knowing about it, right? So I can take a parallel from land itself, right? Perimeter means, okay, this is my plot, I'll put a fencing around it. So this is my network, I know the network where it starts and where it ends, I put the firewall and I secure it. But in cloud environment or multi-cloud environment, you don't know where the application is going to be hosted. You don't know from where the user is going to come. Like you said, he can sit Chicago, he can sit Vietnam, he can sit somewhere, I don't know where he comes from, right? So you don't know your perimeter. So each and every, element or device or user has to be protected, and you have to protect your data as well as your infrastructure. So look at something what we call the adaptive security or pervasive security. I should be able to protect anywhere, anytime, any user, any cloud, any application. That's the sort of openness and the adaptiveness you should have. Not just, okay, sir, I put my firewalls in my data center, you are done. No, you're not done. Right? So please have this at the point, at the this thing, at the back of your mind. Right? So the entire network should be able to leverage security and enforce it wherever and whenever you want, because then it keeps changing. Today's threat will not be, and there are a lot of zero-day attacks. You will not even know what is the solution because a lot of people keep attacking, right? So how quickly you can identify it and remediate it. So we, I'm just entering my last section. So we just, as I told you, connectivity, we just do the design and we keep it simple in terms of operations as well as scaling. Other thing is security. I think I've spoken enough. The other thing is, if you are taking care of these two, I think then only you can innovate what else you can do with the platform you have, right? So today you have edge computing, cloud computing, all those things. With that, can you really hasten up or expedite your projects? Can you do something new which was not possible earlier? That innovation, your team has to focus on that rather than trying to say whether my network is live up or my lights are on. This is not what you should be doing, right? So that is the way we change it from that perspective. So we do a lot of work both in India across different things, and here also we have done some work. Probably my colleagues will share when we meet. So we are doing some work with smart cities across the country, and here also we have some campuses across medical education as well as healthcare segment. So we understand the landscape and the nuances and the relevance what we should bring and the context of the market. So globally, of course, this is just to say because we are not just this thing. Our routers or our network infrastructure are used by the largest operators, you name it, and Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all of them use our stuff. So you can think about the scale. I don't need to tell you the scale. I don't want to go to anybody. I have him as my reference for the scale now. So I think that this is where we are at that perspective. So we are able to do this automation because, as I told you, all these things, whatever I'm talking, it's not a wish list. Our portfolio consists of all these things, and we'll be happy to take up a case study or a problem statement from you and come back to you with a proposal, sir. That's my submission here. And of course, carrier grade, as I told you, robustness is very, very important. So all these networks are not running just like that. They are also pretty carrier grade and much more beyond that. And of course, integration, because we do a lot of abstraction for complexity and make it simple and easy to use for you guys. So that's pretty much from my side, and I really appreciate your patience.